Eala clashes with fellow rising star for first match in Aussie Open. Eala will do battle with world number 100 Alicia Parks in her Australian Open debut. Our Filipino tennis star is set to open her 2026 Grand Slam campaign on Australian soil. Eala will face United States Alicia Parks on Monday morning, not before 9:10 a.m. Manila time, on Court 6 of Melbourne Park, marking her official debut at the Australian Open in Victoria. The season-opening major is the lone Grand Slam yet to be checked off Eala's list, having already competed at Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and US Open last year. Now ranked a career-high world number 49, the 20-year-old Filipina is aiming to go beyond her best slam showing so far, which is a second round of 64, finish at Flushing Meadows in 2025. Read, Gratitude grounds Eala ahead of Australian Open. Standing in her way is WTA number 100 Parks, a powerful 25-year-old who owns one WTA singles title and 2 doubles crowns, and has reached a career-best ranking of number 40. Recent runs by Eala, Parks. Parks also carries prior Melbourne experience, having reached the third round of the Australian Open in 2024, her deepest run at a major to date. Eala enters the match riding momentum from a strong build-up in Auckland, where she advanced to the semi-finals of the WTA 250 ASB Classic before bowing to China's Xinyu Wang, number 57, 7-5, 5-7, 4-6, in a hard-fought thriller. Parks, meanwhile, suffered an early exit in the same tournament, falling in the opening round to 81st-ranked Elisabetta Coxieret, 2-6, 5-7. Closing out 2025 on a high note, Eala also delivered gold for the Philippines in the Thailand Southeast Asian Games, ending the country's decade-long wait for a tennis title. Parks, for her part, wrapped up her season with a quarter-final finish at the WTA 125 Open BLS de Limoges in France. It will be the two's first meeting in their young pro careers. Get more of the latest sports news and updates on spin.ph. Notice on unauthorized and unlawful use, publication, and/or dissemination of spin.ph content. Please be notified that any unauthorized and unlawful use, publication, and/or dissemination of spin.ph's content and/or materials is a direct violation of its legal and exclusive rights to the same, and shall be subject to appropriate legal action/s. Eala clashes with fellow rising star in electrifying Aussie Open opener. The Melbourne sun rose with its usual summer bravado, pouring gold over the blue courts of the Australian Open. For Alexandra Eala, this light felt different. It carried the weight of first times, of possibility, of a career inching closer to the world's grandest stages. Her name, printed neatly on the draw sheet, sat opposite another name that carried the same promise. 2 rising stars. 1 court. 1 beginning. The first-round match was more than an opener. It was a collision of trajectories. Eala walked through the player's tunnel with the quiet composure that had become her signature. At just 19, she already moved like someone who understood the rhythm of big moments. The hard court under her shoes felt fast, honest. No tricks, no forgiveness. Across the net waited her opponent, another young talent who had climbed the rankings with fearless shot-making and an appetite for the spotlight. They had crossed paths in juniors, shared glances at tournaments, traded wins and losses that meant everything then and something different now. This was no longer about promise. This was about proof. From the first rally, the intent was unmistakable. Eala opened with a deep lefty forehand that curved wickedly into the corner, drawing a sharp reply. The ball snapped back and forth like a conversation neither player wanted to end. The crowd, scattered but attentive in the early session, leaned forward. They sensed it too. This was not a warm-up act. Eala's game flowed with controlled aggression. Her movement was economical, her timing precise. Each point built patiently, brick by brick, until the opening appeared. Her opponent answered with raw power, stepping inside the baseline, daring Eala to hold her ground. The contrast made the rallies compelling. Chess versus sparks, geometry versus instinct. The first set tightened quickly. Break points came and went, tension stretching between serves. Eala bounced the ball before one crucial point, eyes fixed, breath steady. She remembered the hours far from home, the early mornings, The expectations carried quietly but constantly. She tossed the ball, swung, and watched it kiss the line. A small fist pump followed, restrained but fierce. Her opponent smiled wryly at the net. Respect traveled silently between them. Momentum shifted like the Melbourne breeze. One moment Eala dictated with her forehand, opening the court and finishing at net. The next, she was pushed back, scrambling, forced to defend against blistering returns. Games stretched, deuce after deuce, as if neither player was willing to blink first. The scoreboard told a simple story, but the match beneath it was layered with nerves, ambition, and youth testing itself. In the second set, the rallies grew heavier. Sweat darkened visors, and legs burned under the midday sun. Eala adjusted, adding more margin, trusting her patterns. She mixed in slices, changed pace, made the court feel larger. Her opponent responded by taking bigger risks, stepping closer, swinging freer. Winners flew. So did errors. At one changeover, Eala sat quietly, towel over her shoulders, eyes closed. Around her, the Open buzzed on. Laughter from a neighboring court. An announcement echoing through the stands. But inside, everything narrowed. Point by point. Nothing else. The final games arrived without ceremony. One break decided it. A long rally ended with Eala redirecting a backhand down the line, clean and sudden. The ball skidded past her opponent's outstretched racket. Match point came moments later. The serve landed deep, the return floated short, and Eala stepped in, finishing with authority. Silence hung for a fraction of a second before applause rose, warm and approving. At the net, the two young players met, exchanged a firm handshake and a few words only they would hear. It was not goodbye, only a pause. Their paths would cross again. As Eala walked off court, racket tucked under her arm, there was no dramatic celebration. Just a calm nod, a hint of a smile. The first match was done, but the story felt newly opened. In Melbourne, under the vast Australian sky, a rising star had announced herself not with noise, but with clarity. And somewhere in the draw, the future waited patiently.